this is part of why this is such a big deal is because like with cardiology and everything is no matter what your belief is, what your worldview is, life is important. Like that we are here, we know for objective fact that we all have we are all here, we share this reality, we have this experience, this is our world. So that's real. And so we have this life. And whether you believe that after this life there's this, that, or the other thing, I mean, yeah, every person's got their view. If you were to press them, someone believes in heaven. What really is heaven? What is it to you? What does it mean? What would you envision it like, or anything like that? So we have our beliefs. So we have this world here, and we have these ways that we can prevent figuring out what is on the other side personally for ourselves, which is the last thing you would, I guess, figure out from here, from this life, because this is what we have, and this is actually part of why like faith in God is required. I don't think you can have evidence for God technically by like science standards or anything. You have um, God is unseen. He's out of this world. This world's fallen. He couldn't exist here. So like a piece of God or something wouldn't make sense really. And faith in God is because if you claim to love God, there's a lesson or a reason for God to to be required to have faith in God, and not claim like knowledge or evidence or anything, is because how can you claim to love your fellow man who you can see, who you are here with, if you cannot show? How can you claim to love God who you cannot see, if if you can't show that love to your fellow man who you can see? How can you claim to love God who you cannot see if you cannot show love to your fellow man who you can see? So we show our love to our fellow man in a way to show God our love, but also that it's to serve God like and assumingly a loving God who would that would probably tell you to be peaceful, or inspire you or teach you to be peaceful, raise you in faith to be peaceful, and so you show that love to your fellow man who's here, because God is outside of this world and intangible to this world in that sense. And so why this is important is because, or in my view, is because we are here. This is our shared reality. We have our fellow man, and we have this world. This is ours, and we can do things that are preventable. Like war is like it's stoppable. There's a percentage chance or a likely certain level of likeliness that we could stop it. But if everyone who owned a bear arms thing, uh, if they put it down immediately, all those drops would drop to zero. So certain things that are possible are achievable if we voice and communicate, establish, organize, coordinate, like the so-called elite do or whatever. They divide and conquer while they themselves say organize and plot and scheme and that stuff. And there are people who are willing to, no matter what the worldview is, there are people right now who have beliefs where life is not as important to them, or certain lives, or this or that. Some lead. Like right now, if I were to ask someone to do something to someone, I would expect everyone to say no, anyone to say no, and to try to reason with me to not be like that, and to be like, why would you even say that, and even to say something to someone, or be like, yo, this dude, why would you? So we don't have to listen to people who in this world who tell us to be violent. We can outspeed all that stuff with our technology, and uh, we with this technology, we could prevent all of the violence that is preventable. It quite literally is. Not only do we have this technology, but the translation of language is people of different tongue or tribe or however you want to divide it. People who don't can't communicate, can't be intelligent, civil, reasonable, and talk with one another. We have translated language, so the so-called world leaders and everything that could get on TV live, they could talk about all this stuff. This stuff is all communication, it's all information exchange, and we can prevent this stuff. And no matter your worldview, there are people who, regardless of your beliefs, your views, there are people who are willing to do things without your consent to harm you. Like sea spray is any city could be attacked by by someone who decides that it's okay to conduct research. So, and you could go to whatever's after, and none of us really know early, that earlier than you should. So there goes your time with your family, with your friends, your loved ones, doing the things you want to do. And we right now have this tech where we can prevent this stuff. It's the communication that it can outspeed these people, the so-called elite or whatever, these people who are controlling or governing or whatever. This technology is too fast for them. This is something that we have, and to share information, and that, like, with reversal of heart disease, should be taught to every cardiologist, should know it. Someone should shout it out in a cardiology building that it's reversible, because then your patients can try to choose that, and then not have to visit you. And so now you have more time to do other things. We can put our research, our development, our scientific learning and insight into other areas of healthcare that are needed, like cancer or Alzheimer's, or who knows, what all these things that are out there with unique ailments and things like that. So we as a people, it's up to us, and we don't have to listen to people who advocate for violence or anything. Like, stop listening to, we all would stop listening to someone who says go be violent, and we all listen to what people have to say regardless. So if there's disagreement about a belief, be reasonable, talk with someone about why you view something a certain way, and you don't have to actually get physical. It's completely different to initiate harm rather than to defend or protect. And it's always wrong. I can find good in just about everything, but it is always wrong, and I'm certain about this. Feel free, you won't be able to. It is always wrong to initiate violence. Always, you will always be in the wrong. No act should go to that. Accidents or anything like that, no. But to deliberately initiate violence on someone is always wrong. And but then to protect or defend sometimes is necessary, and it is if someone is in danger, absolutely. But there are people, like, if shape of earth and all that stuff or whatever, you're on the side that is ultimately what reality is. There are people who have views that think that it's okay to use things on people, on us, on the public, or to, if there is something going on, like this information not being shared about heart disease in the university schools, like, but then to be told it is. I got sent to a phone number from the heart department for an employee that doesn't even work there, and that line is I left voicemails. If I, like, what am I supposed to wait for weeks and not even get a call? Like, there wouldn't be someone that so the I was told with all this communication technology, I was told that a lady had to go to 3 buildings at the U campus to try to find a phone to be able to call me. That is that's not good. That's not good for our educational system. Education's supposed to be a good thing, is when it's right and got structure, and things are well set up, and everything, because then it's like-minded people. You have an interest, you go learn more about it and get a career in that field or something, and that's good because it's a work and everything like that. Our jobs are contribution to society. It's how you serve the community, so people, when they're not working, and we don't have to get into how a work day could be 20 hours or 30 hours or anything like that, but we could, when you're not working, you can go do things because people work, people contribute, people are doing things. We're community. When we have community set up and quality of life, that's when we're able to go further and go beyond, and have development in services and goods and products and entertainment and these things. and we're able to live the quality life, and it can be everywhere. It should be everywhere. We spent $30 million on a helicopter and loaded up with weapons. We could put medical tech on that to rescue people from out at sea or something, or just put that into communities, or medical, living, housing, parks, places like this, small businesses. We could use that money. We don't have all of this stuff is preventable, and the stuff that should be prevented. And like I clearly, I love nutrition. I think there's a lot of it, but the craziest thing is about it that no matter what, you could eat nothing but kale and breathe pure oxygen and drink water and chia seeds. Those are crazy, y'all. Omega 3s, there's something about those. But if someone squeezes their tendon on their finger, that could be it for you. You have few holes in you or whatever, or a hole in the wrong spot or something, and like it doesn't matter anything like that. So that stuff is all we could do stuff about all of that, and not just that very blatant example, but even having a biology experiment you done upon you. Do you consent to that? Like, did you say anything? Did that guy who died, did he say he wanted that? What city was that in again? Could be any. So I don't think that's a city. It kind of sounds like could be any city, but no, I think it was San Francisco. Um, so these are the things that this is an era that we live in that's different than any other in the past. If there was fighting or whatever, if people didn't speak the same language but you didn't translate, okay, we all around the world are connected. We all speak. We all have this technology. It's literally, it's faster than their weapons, and they don't use it. They don't use this stuff to help us. It might be serendipitous that they gave us this kind of tech with like the phones and everything. This connectivity is it's the best. It's for a potential avenue to try to thwart these people, and it's like should happen, could, and it will. Like we can do all things right through Christ. So uh, we capitalizing on everything that we can. The system is so like the there's got to be like an appeal or something to how special life is, because no matter your belief or anything like that, like life is special, and this reality, we all have people that only we make happy the way we do, our families, our friends, only we have those connections, and this life, it has to, it's so meaningful, and we can make it so that we're here, longer, especially than preventable stuff. If there's a draft and you don't have you or you got to go defend yourself, like that's that could be it. So we can avoid all that. We can prevent all that, and we could, uh, and like these people are, regardless if you're atheist or Christian or a Buddhist or Jainist, or whatever your belief system is of how we got here and what we're doing here, and what life is, and the meaning of all of this. There are people who have beliefs who are okay with harming people. Who There are people who have beliefs, and if they get you or like your pet or something or whatever, they're okay with causing harm. They're okay with practicing with manipulation, contortion, and ripping people off, and these things. Everything less than harm, and all that stuff, too, and deception, and all that. And some of these people decide things that affect us all, and policy, and we don't have to have it. And if we took this technology that science gets, that the military gets, and gave it to people and everything, we would have it all. We could, and there are ways. There are ways to make it happen. And like we're human beings. We're dependent. We're social creatures. We we thrive off of each other and with each other, and to be here, and this life is, it's got to appeal to the specialness of how this life is special, no matter what our views are. And like, peace is so base, it should be a very easy to achieve, agreeable position for everyone to take, voice to communicate. We could all, Google poll it or something. It sounds trivial, but it's this is the technology where it could happen. People say it's always violence, always war. Well, not if you've translated language with someone, then you're being peaceful with them to understand their words and they understand your words. So then you can even try to say that we live in a time where we can converse and use our words and be peaceful all over the place. And now countries their people can, who love and serve and mean well on both sides of the conflict, can stay at home. They don't have to defend or protect. They can construct in their own nation, build up, and we can all have better societies around the world. Countries, governments can invest in their communities rather than in offense or defense, however you want to look at it, or occupation, or however. And not that there isn't good in the military too, because to be able to deploy, it's really to be able to synchronize 10,000 people to do something. That's great to be able to do that. Let's put tools in their hands for construction efforts after a natural disaster or something like that. We can control the weather, make it rain to prevent fires, and help the farmers and give the necessities of stabilization in our society. Could happen. It's a choice. It's free will of everybody. It takes everybody to do so. Or to want, and then to act, and act on that want, and to make it happen. And it seems pretty, like, I don't know who would disagree. Like, if everyone voices to not be reasonable, there would be something very peculiar about someone who says, "Well, I still want to be able to attack this person for this reason." Like, that would be, people want peace. People, it's who we are, and it can, the society, like, it's it's odd. Some people have said things like how there's, like, the thrills of that life is so fragile and things like that, and I've heard that stuff. But life is so worth living, and we should just focus on pure joy and prosperity, and society, and engaging with one another, and then we have it. Then this is the potential. This is the plausibility. This is at least a possibility. Peace, translation of language. It's a want by all, and then people can, if you have an ideology and you want to try to persuade someone, once that person says, "Oh, and this is where we harm someone," you can say, "Well, wait a minute, why would we do that? Why can't we talk to them? And shouldn't our logic be reasonable enough to persuade someone, or isn't it sound enough to be convincing for someone to try to choose, going along with this type of view?" And critique should make you better off in the long run, because refinement, or being accurate, is going to only help be more so convincing towards something that could be a good thing. If someone has an idea, you want to be able to be heard and to be able to try to get that out, because that's better for people. That's what we want. So, listening is something we all can do. It might be difficult. Communication is something we all can do. It might be difficult, but we all can do it. We all, and it's how it's with this substrate of technology, we can speak. It is us. It's decision. It's the real democracy, or whatever, republic or vote, could happen through this type of a main infrastructure. And there's, like, isn't there something about, if you don't actively, like, voice a negative position, so, like, it can be acceptance or something. There's legalese is an odd thing. But they legally can do research on us, and cause harm. And this stuff here, is this talk, is it can oust all that, so that none of us have to face that stuff. I couldn't imagine having to stare something down where my life is in imminent danger. No one should have to. And we can do it all for each other. If everyone puts their arm down, and then, okay, now we're good. Now we just talk it out, disagree however we want to go about it. But your life At least, you know, if my life isn't at risk, at least your life isn't too, right? So, okay, much better odds of having tomorrow in this special life, which could be it, depending on what's after this. If naturalism's true, which is still seems impossible that life is even here, with abiogenesis being so inconceivably impossible, uh, that this life is special though. That's got to be the commonality, right? So I don't know. That's just I'm kind of just it's a thought, because it seems like who would ever want to be violent to someone, or could, or there's never a reason. You'll never have a reason to harm anybody ever, to initiate violence or anything like that. Different, completely different from protection, self-defense. But it's we're peaceful beings, and we can have peace. So we all it's all choice, it's all free will, it's up to we the people. Really, we got this stuff, uh, over on the Illuminati or whatever. Like, we this technology is faster than everything they have. Uh, it's like we're at light speed with all this stuff, y'all. So thank y'all very much. Peace be with you all.